The police and every other person involved actually neglected that aspect of the crime of sex tape production, releasing sex tape, and rather took the dimension of who did the lashing. And I think that was very disrespectful to our traditional leadership. If you take the Ashanti perspective, if the Asante Hene says, don't drop a polythene on the street, it means it will not happen. But then when you come to this our section, it is because we don't accord that much respect to our traditional leadership. When this happened, we all saw how other people that are actually natives of this community lambasting the Wana, lambasting our elders. That wasn't the right thing.
I felt betrayed. We had it in common. Everybody is aware of it. Afterwards, when it happens, there was a crowd here about, as Babawala said, about 500 people. And they able to locate me as a person.
The Wala community years ago could bring a thief here and give him the necessary punishment they want to give. Today, the Wala Traditional Council cannot do that.
They call some of them even Napaha or so. They've been lashing for long.
Personally, I hold the view that much of the time we don't need laws to fix us. We must go back to that religious values, traditional values, the religious teachings, our upbringing, are those things that can actually fix us.
I say no sex tape
in our community.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to another exciting episode of North Chat. My name is Prince Hamdan. We've been working in WA for some time now, and one of the very important issues that I actually want to have a conversation about is more of a social issue, more of a social conversation. If you recall, some time back, there were this issue of two young people being lashed at this same premises in the palace of the Wana for certain things they did that didn't go well, or that didn't go down well with the youth of the community as well as some elders, and they were lashed. Their sex tapes were released, and it caused a whole lot of issues. Today I'm here with some of the people who were very directly or indirectly involved in the issue. So we talk about it as young people and as community members. Today, unfortunately, I have Bush Doctor with me to my far left, and close to him is Baba Wala. The name will tell you that he's somebody who loves his community, and anything community development, he's always there. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
What happened? We were in Tamale, we were somewhere in Accra. We had this issue of two young people being lashed for something they did. What happened? Who is going to start?
Actually, it was massive with the beginning. As the youth, we all organized to support our community about sex tapes and what we call gay, lesbianism, and all those kind of things. So we organized a group whereby all the youth were contributing. So we were able to step ahead. From there, we had about 3 or 4 ladies. We got into it. So they were having that act.
Okay.
So, but as soon as we get the records, by then they ran away from town. Okay. They weren't around.
So you mean they had their sex tapes?
Yes.
Lit.
Yeah, it was that one. It was the lesbians.
Okay.
Lady and a lady.
Okay.
Before, because it started with the sex tapes, but with that one, we were able to trace the guy who was releasing it because it was daily basis. When it comes to sometimes 3 days ahead, one will leak. Then they wait till another week, another one will leak.
Wow.
So we investigated the whole town. That we were able to get about 3 or 4 people. That is telling us that there was a guy that is having those kind of tapes that been leaking it. So we traced that guy, which called Amadeus. Obviously, we met him, but all his action shows that he was having the sex tapes. So we tried to send him to Wana Palace. So from there, he refused to go with us. He said we should take the lead, but we resist. And I maintained there, and I insist to take him ahead. So along with me. So from there, his mother wasn't showing up.
It means you were the leader of that group?
Yes.
Okay.
There I was a leader. So we were about 4 or 5 guys along with me.
Okay.
So when we get there, as the mother was interrogating, was not trying to let the boy follow us
To the palace.
to the palace. So it was like a fight all along. So he started misbehaving. So from there, some of the guys, they withdraw.
Okay.
Then left me. So there I decided to also wait and get a crowd to add to my vim to get him along. So from there I met one of my brothers who were selling pure water in stocks, so that they just wait at the wayside. They enforced me to get Amadeus that day, but it was a big crowd. The way the whole place was crowded, he had a support. He called about his motor men's around. They were all there because within 30 minutes, we don't know what happened, who gave out the information around town. Everybody was just there. So the whole place was crowded, and I was shocked self. What happened? So from there, we were able to hijack the door, and the mother opened the door for us. We took Amadeus away. So before then, the way the crowd was, and someone also reported to the police that they caught a criminal and they were beating him to death. So the police, they rushed to the incident. So from there, the police, they come. By then, we just took Amadeus from the mother, and the police also arrived. So they took Amadeus from us. So there they moved Amadeus to the police station and asked us to come along.
Okay.
So from there, we also had mind that we had to inform the chief that police took Amadeus from us. So we came to the Wana. There he gave us delegates to go with them. So we went there. Then we went and met the commander. That was in the Buguri by then. We met him. That chief asked us to bring Amadeus to the palace. And he's telling us that he cannot release Amadeus. He also wants Amadeus since. So, but he will keep Amadeus till daybreak. So he will be investigating Amadeus for us. So whatever we had for Amadeus, we'll come and add it tomorrow morning. So there we agree with the commander in the Buguri. Then we return back. The next day, I follow up to see how he was doing with the investigation. He confirmed that he saw almost all the 6 tapes that released by then, within a week or a month time. He saw all of them, and the new ones that were not able to release yet.
That's the police commander.
That was the police commander.
He saw the tapes.
He saw them, and even telling us that he had different issues with the guy. He's selling motors alongside the nearby villages, slightly used motors. Meanwhile, he's not a motor seller, meaning he's stealing in addition.
Okay.
So from there, so we left again that morning. So he told me that we'll be going to court with Amadeus.
Okay.
That was what he
told
me. Yeah. So the next day, I traced the guy again. I couldn't meet a commander. But what I was seeing that the whole thing was just going different way on behalf of Amadeus and the mother. So I was trying to know what is going on.
You didn't go to court again?
Yes. The whole thing was just going in favor of them because I met the mother there. He met commander. I don't know how they come about the issue. I don't even know whether Amadeus is still under police custody or they release him by then.
At that time? Okay.
Yeah, at that time. But I was trying all my best to also know what is happening.
Information, yes.
Yeah, because as we are here, for 1 year, mostly we fear the police. When incidents happen like this, people don't trace back. They run away and leave the case. There I traced and I've tried all my best. I couldn't get any information aside. As they say, the 6 tapes were in the phone. But then, even though I wasn't having that much evidence along, because the commander bodyguards were handling the phone, I request for the phone. He said no, they didn't release it up. Okay. So by then, and I have to also get a backup because alone I cannot work with the commander. So I have to come and see the palace guards and the chief himself. So he insisted that he had to send Amadeus to court. So by then, as I'm saying, by then I don't even know whether Amadeus was still under the custody of the police. Later on, I heard that he's been released.
Okay, so how did he get all those 6 tapes? What was he doing with them?
From people, sources. They said he can sacrifice to buy somebody's 6 tape.
Okay.
1,000 Ghana cedi, 1,500, just to threaten you to have sex with you. If you refuse him to have sex with you, he will release it. He will show you the date that the tape will be released.
Wow.
Yeah, if you
He was
resist not to
blackmailing people.
allow him have sex with you, he will release the tape. So that was how the whole thing goes.
Started.
Yeah, it started with that way. So apart from that, he himself, he has some, he snaps some with him phones, then some are his girlfriends. So he started releasing them because I'm a busy person. All this information I'm giving you is from sources. So we gathered them to notice that that was the true sources before we got to arrest him.
Okay. So, but why didn't you allow the police to do their work? It's not your work to arrest people who are, in your view, committing crimes. It's the work of the police. Why didn't you allow the police to do their work, and then you were still insisting that you had a hand in what was happening at the police station?
Before we have that action, the chief and the cabinet members and the community members such as Limahe, Tarehe, Jangbarehe, then other communities, they all gathered to have that kind of law given to the community that who will not be accepting those kind of sex tapes. So the police was aware by then. I don't know what happened after then the back off, but they were aware because I think it was trending on the media.
So they were aware that once you get somebody who is in the possession of those materials, you were going to deal with the person.
Yes.
The police was aware.
Yes.
And
the chief was aware of that too.
Okay.
So even the other chiefs, I forgot of his name. He was the one who read the whole thing.
Let me come to Babawala and then I'll come back to you. What do you know in all of this?
Thank you very much. Let me also say thank you to my brother who has been in the forefront of this battle for our community and for us all. Because sex tapes has been an issue not just of Upper West, not just of Wa, but of the whole Ghana, which is not a good thing. And we all know shifting away from the traditions, but then in the general law, we all know that production of sex tapes is an illegal thing to do.
It frowns on the law.
Yes. I think he has given you the genesis of the whole show. I was not in the forefront, but then as a community member, I also took concerns to add my voice to what was happening. He has been in the forefront. We have all seen what was happening. They took up the challenge to help fix our community. And as he narrated, they came to meet the chief, the Wana, and his elders. And our religious leaders were also present. They made those bylaws to help instill some decency and discipline in our community. So as he said, I'm sure the police, if they didn't even get any official notice of it, but once they have PROs, they are on social media, they listen to radio, they all saw and heard about these laws that were made. So by and large, I think that was a good move to ensure that our community is better shaped as we all grew up seeing it to be. I think that that is a way that as traditions we should live with our people. It shouldn't just be like I am the chief, I am this, I am that, whilst indecency is ongoing in our community. And as youth, once they saw it, they didn't take the laws into their own hands. They didn't hold this particular person that is committing this crime and to beat him up. They decided to bring the person to the palace. And the police also saw the need to come to the scene. All of that is in a direction to help instill some right things be done, because the police cannot also sit aloof to see the youth hold while they don't know what the youth will be doing to these people. So I think in all it was a good move, and that is what has brought us to this point that we are. I think for the past months you would not hear or see of any sex tape. You might hear of other indecency acts ongoing, but releasing of sex tapes, you will not see it. So that means that the action that was taken has actually.
Before we come to the how do you call it, what the action has done to the community.
Okay.
I would like us to go to before or after the issue with the guy who had the sex tapes. What actually happened? Because we saw two people, being lashed,
Okay.
which was actually what went viral and got a lot of backlash from the entire country, and a lot of people were, angry that two young women who are adults did something, and at the end of the day they are being lashed for it. How did it happen? How did it get to the point where these two people were lashed? Is it still continuing from that story of the guy who was caught by the police, or who was in the grips of the police?
Okay. I think after these guys had that unit to help instill that decency, like I said, those bylaws were made that anyone who is found culpable of those acts will be brought to the palace and given the appropriate punishment. That has to do with our customs, that has to do with customary laws, that has to do with the community getting a way to fix itself.
Yes.
So that was how it's not the same victim that was taken to the police station. That was a different person. That happened some days after
what
this incident happened.
Because
afterwards, everyone had a clue of things that are happening around, and the youth actually supported that fixing measures that the palace and the youth were trying to take,
especially when it came to that issue of
releasing sex tapes. So when that sex tape was leaked, I think the youth again saw the need to go to that particular people, bring them up to the palace, and the palace lashed them. I think just
in
here
front of this place.
I don't think a lot of those who were against that thing was because of the lashing in general. But then the videos, there was a section of those who were against the video being put out.
Of the
videoing of the lashing being put out, because that alone is a generational trauma, not only on the victims, but also on those, even their immediate families, even their kids. Growing up, you see your father being lashed at the palace, and the internet doesn't forget. And I think that wasn't the fault. That wasn't so much the fault of our traditional leaders, because they didn't sanction the videoing. But that is the world we are in now. That is the disadvantage or the demerits of our technological system that we are getting into. People want to show off what is happening. So that was how videos got out there, and we all know there are international communities out there, there are unions out there who are also there with the purpose of just fighting for people's rights. They get donor support to fight for rights. So once they see this, a job has been created, they will have to come in and also fight for them. So I think generally it wasn't that bad. Lashing them, I think, wasn't that bad. But I think it should have been done in closed doors. Maybe that will shape us more better. Those people that will be lashed, they are the people the punishment will have to go out to. We can put it out there that we have punished these people. It will also serve as a deterrent to those that might get into it.
But a lot of people also think that if they don't see these people being punished, or if they themselves don't know that people know that they were punished, at the end of the day, it still doesn't deter people, because it could be that you are lying that they were punished and they weren't punished. So some people feel that the videos are evident to the fact that if you also do this, you are going to get, punished.
I think that was why the lashing was done at the forecourt of the palace. Without you rather videoing and posting it. But this palace can contain about 1,500 to 2,000 people to witness the lashing. And once they witness it, there will be an intermediary to churning the information out. There might be people among them who might have later would go into those things. Once they see it, I think it's okay, because it was to instill that decency within the confines of the one environs, the traditional area, and not just Kumasi, Tamale, Accra. So we didn't actually need to video it. And I'm sure media people could be here, not necessarily take videos, but they could also speak it out on our radio stations, and the people will get to understand that there's some truth in the people being punished. So the videoing was actually the wrong part of it, because once the lashing has been a bylaw taken by our people, and we are supposed to support our leaders to instill that decency, I actually didn't see anything wrong with it. So if we feel that
you think the lashing was okay,
if the lashing is okay by me, because that is what my the leadership of my community has seen the necessary thing to do to fix decency in our community. So I actually saw nothing wrong. If they were any other people who think that that was wrong, you could still come to the leadership, the traditional leadership, the Wana and his people, and tell them why you think that is very wrong. And they will get a better way to shaping how we can have a better punishment that will not be more a trauma on our people.
But a lot of the people also thought that, lashing them wasn't the right way, because they felt that it was a duty of the police to intervene in such matters. Why didn't we, use the channel of sending them to the police station to be dealt with, but rather we chose the traditional route?
This portion, I would say, is a lapse between our customary laws and our main constitution that we have. Because I think customary laws, no matter the law you are taking, should not go against the general constitution, undermine the general constitution that we have as a country. But then that is why our political leadership should work hand in hand with our traditional leadership, so that when such bylaws are taken, they can all sit to see how it doesn't undermine the general constitution of our country, because it is necessary. I think the traditional authority, the chieftaincy institution, is one of the institutions that has survived post pre-colonial rule, colonial rule, and post-colonial rule. It is also the only institution that has survived the political seasons that we have witnessed, pre-independence, in the military rule, and independence. It tells you that the traditional institution is one of the strongest institution and key institution that can help us to actually fix our community. A lot of institutions that maybe existed some time back, even in other countries that existed when they had constitutional reviews. Some countries like I think Uganda, in 1966 thereabout, when they had a review of their constitution, these kings were actually their powers they had in them were actually taken out of them. But in the Ghanaian perspective, we have the traditional authorities actually surviving through all these seasons, politically, colonial era, and it tells you that for us to have better laws working in our communities, our political leadership should see the need to work with them. Let us take Ashanti region, for instance. When the Asante Henny's mother funeral was to be done, they gave a law that no single person should be on the streets. Not even a madman could be seen on the street of Kumasi. That tells you how powerful the Ashanti Kingdom and the Asante Hene is. And that tells you that if government has any law to fix in Kumasi and they give it, actually involve the Asante Hene, it tells you that Kumasi will be well fixed. We have been complaining about cleaning our towns. If you take the Ashanti perspective, if the Asante Hene says don't drop a polythene on the street, it means it will not happen. But then when you come to this our section, it is because we don't accord that much respect to our traditional leadership. When this happened, we all saw how other people that are actually natives of this community lambasting the Wana, lambasting our elders. That wasn't the right thing to do. If you hold any I don't think that the government actually gave a curfew in Ashanti region, but the chief was able to give a curfew. So if a chief in Kumasi can give a curfew to the whole community, even including the mad people in the community, they all adhere to it. Why can't the overlord of the Wana Kingdom also give something that is even to fix us in that decency line? And we are not according that respect.
Okay. All right.
So I think that we are the we are actually the problem of our community and not just the leadership. Because if we accord that respect to them, it will give them more grounding. Because if we begin today not to respect our presidency, I think they will lose their laws because they don't have that power just to give orders. Our accordance, our respect to the laws is what gives them that power. I think we should give that to our overlords and our traditional leadership, religious leadership here, and we all together can help fix the community.
Beautiful. Bush, let me come to you. When the incident happened and it took a different turn, the police got involved, and I think you were one of the people who were arrested because of this particular issue. I don't know if I'm right. So how did you feel as a young person who was trying to help your community become better? I mean, people had all sorts of things to say or saying about what happened. How did you feel?
Actually, I felt betrayed. We had it in common. Everybody is aware of it. Afterwards, when it happens, there was a crowd here about, as Baba Wala said, about 500 people. And they able to locate me as a person. Because when they say I was the one, I shock. Because I say, what happened? I wasn't the one flogging. It was some other people from Nairi here. So when it happens, and I was arguing that I wasn't the one flogging, because though I was the leader, but if you say I flogged them, I can resist. Yeah, I'm not the one. So as I was arguing that I wasn't the one flogging, there they come out with a picture and a video. There the commander say, "Are you not the one person?" And I say, "Oh, so among this crowd, you couldn't see anybody except me." Meanwhile, I'm not the one holding the cane. There were two other boys that holding the cane. You couldn't point their name. You don't even know their name. Why me? That's my problem with them. So later on, after the court, that the judge spoke well, because as I'm saying,
they sent you to court.
Yes.
For the incident.
Yes. Though I slept there for one night.
Okay.
And that night wasn't easy in what Upper West here.
Wow.
I can say I thank Wala people the way they behave. I cannot be see. I don't know the number of camps that came out that night, but I appreciate all youth. I appreciate you guys because you guys did massive work. Because you asked the police to release me that night. The police said no till that following day. They say they will send me to court and even remind me. So from the court, the judge accepted the remand and tell the reason that the commander, this guy, you locked this guy for one night and wasn't able to sleep. So if I give this guy lock him back, a remind. So what do you think
will happen in the community?
What will happen in the next 1 hour? So there he said he will release me and they will go on with their further investigation. So from there, they couldn't get any other evidence against me. I was there interrogating with the commander. As I'm saying, he was able to mention some guys' names among the community.
Before that, what is your perspective regards to the lashing? Do you think that is the best solution to the problem of, this indecent act that has been going on in the community?
Yeah, mashallah, lashing, it helps us a lot for the past years because our forefathers, they do lashes as I am.
So you think that is the best?
It's right. And the Wala kingdom that's what Baba Wala said, is the customary, or what do you say? They have that kind of this thing. They call some of them even Napaha or so. They've been lashing for long. It's not this one
that to instill discipline into the community.
Because with that we're able to be disciplined. Our regime wasn't like that. We can joke with ladies, small girls and small boys for 3-4 hours, but no sex. Nobody touches breasts. They will even marry you guys to each other, but you just do it as a play. But we were not aware of all those things, pressing of breasts, licking on all those things. But we're also modern guys.
Yes.
We all nice guys. We can do other fashion, but we don't know of those things, because if you do it, you will not be happy.
When they arrested you, I heard rumors that the palace said, or leadership of the palace said they weren't aware of the incident that happened. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true, because
they said they weren't aware of
no,
it.
a prospective one person,
okay.
that chief, what is his name? The teacher, Jim Piana.
Okay.
It's true. He wasn't around.
Okay.
And he mentioned that he wasn't around, so he had to take the information from the leaders. So generally, they just take the whole thing.
They misquoted.
They misquoted him.
Okay.
And as Himon, he's also one of the big man among the chiefs. We were having that responsibilities to call him to notice that we are having an issue at the palace, but none of us had that mind. So as it's happened, I won't blame him, because he do the right thing by saying he wasn't around. So instead of him to maintain there, not to speak, because the next other words I can't even quote them, but I know that he wasn't aware, and it's true, he is not around. But if he say he's not aware of the laws, that's a one hour and his cabinet meetings that put into Wa Palace here and the communities, that one is a lie. He's aware.
Okay, all right. So Baba, how far has the case gone? Because it's as though, just as he said earlier on, when things of this nature happen, we tend to leave it as it is, because in the first place, just as you said earlier, sex tape filming, releasing sex tapes are also criminal offenses. Did they take it at that angle too, or they were more key on the lashing of those two young people? Because at the end of the day, it's like a double issue. Releasing the sex tape and then also the lashing. Did the case go, it's 9 yards, did they investigate as to who released the sex tape and what actions were taken?
I don't have an in-depth of what actually happened.
You can answer that, okay.
In that direction.
Okay.
But from my view of what actually happened, attention was more on those who actually brought them to the palace, those who did the lashing. And that was how my brother got to be a victim of that case, which he said he wasn't even the one lashing. And we all saw those lashing, he wasn't involved. But then maybe because he was actually involved in the beginning in helping us do this fixing. And I think I will have to applaud him. That's a sacrifice he took,
for the community.
Because not all of us could go to that direction to bring those victims.
Because his life was at risk.
But then he took the challenge up to help us fix, whether it was in the wrong direction, whether it was in the right direction. But the intent was good. So once that intent was good to help us fix, I think he shouldn't be bothered, he shouldn't be worried. You can't have 100% of the community actually supporting you, because these are things that some people are doing. They also have chronics, they have people that think that it is very okay, so they will be against you. But then I think focus should be on those that support that you help us to fix the community. And like I said, I don't have an in-depth of what actually the case, the dimension the case took. But what I saw is that the police and every other person involved actually neglected that aspect of the crime of sex tape production, releasing sex tape, and rather took the dimension of who did the lashing. And I think that was very disrespectful to our traditional leadership, because no matter what, the traditional leadership sanctioned that lashing, because it was a bylaw. So as to whether procedures weren't well followed for the lashing to be done was a thing that the police should have come to the palace to seek more in depth of what actually happened. But for you to go to the extent of arresting someone that was actually working with the traditional leadership, and for the traditional leadership to now come and call for the release of that person, and we even heard the former regional commander Ndabuguri saying that he wasn't going to release him. I think that was a great disrespect to our traditional leadership. Like I mentioned before, I doubt the regional commander in Ashanti region or in northern region would dare say a thing like that, for the traditional leadership to say, do this don't do that, then you also go out publicly and say you will not go by that decision that the traditional leadership is supposed to work together to ensure that the followers actually see the need to follow the law. So even if you feel that the Wana law or the Wana way of helping fix our community wasn't in right channel with the constitutional mandate that you have been giving us, but you should sit down with him, because we all know we have a chieftaincy council, we have a national chieftaincy council, we have regional chieftaincy council. So it means that government actually recognizes these people. So when you have something of disagreement with them, the best thing to do is to sit with them. But like you asked, I think the whole dimension of the police was also wrong, because focus was not actually on dealing with both aspects. The real issue that actually engineered that lashing. Because if it had been fixed, I think we wouldn't have even gotten to that aspect. Because the police actually didn't care much on these things matter. When I
also heard that it has been really done severally.
Like he said, 3 days afterwards, another is out. 3 days afterwards, another is out.
It was becoming one
so
too
it
many.
was becoming one too many. But the police didn't actually see the need see the need to even do that tracing, because they were videos. They could actually ask people in town. They were in the public domain. They could actually ask people around to arrest them, but they didn't see the need doing that. So if the youth of the community and my brother here feel that our leadership, our political leadership isn't seeing any need to help fix, and he feel that the best way to do this is to come to the traditional leadership, which is also another way of fixing our community, I think he did nothing wrong.
Wow.
He did nothing wrong. If there was anything wrong, the police should have actually come back to the traditional leadership and let them understand that lashing is not a good thing to do in helping fix our community. Then we get to shape another way of punishing them. But then the police didn't see the need to do all those things. So if you think that the gentleman didn't do anything right, I think the police were also very wrong in their direction.
All right, Bush, let me come to you. How far has you have been in the center of this? How far has the case traveled? What is happening with the case as we speak now?
Let me tell you about what happens before it's being released. Because according to majority, they were saying that wasn't the first time of that lady's actions. Another guy told me that he's always a victim, always. When he slept with a guy with those nudes, he will threaten you back for money. So when you are not ready to give out money, he will send one of the tape to either your friend or your close relative. So just to give you that kind of pressure to release the money. So it started that way. Some other guys told me that personally, that is the lady who released the tip.
Oh, wow.
So, but from the lady herself, she mentioned that the phone got lost that night, and he wake up in the morning looking for the phone. She couldn't find the phone. So later on, she realized that the nude pictures were all over the town. So according to other people, that rumors, they said that the one who took the phone sent the phone to a repeller. This thing I'm trying to explain is really a big distance, because it affected my work so far.
Oh, really?
Because as they say, the one who took the phone sent it to a repairer. That is from the repairer that the things release, which is not true. It's from the lady's side.
But how sure are you?
It wasn't true, because the phone was still with the lady. If that phone lost, how can you are still holding that phone? That was my problem.
Still with her.
Yes, that morning we got her, the phone was still with her. Because as they just mentioned repeller, and out of the comments, or they say bush doctor, the phone repeller.
Oh, because you are a phone repeller.
They also thought that I was the particular repeller that released the news.
Oh, okay. Was that why they arrested you?
Not really, but my people, the community, some were giving rumors that I'm the one who released
it,
the tape.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm fighting against those.
Was that why the police arrested you?
Not really. It's because of the lashing.
Okay.
They say it's not right for us to capture the video. A lot of dignitaries were here. We are not here to mention names sometime. But after then, they all hide up when you are calling them because the vim they gave us, and afterwards, and they all ran away and left me at the custody. I was shocked, self, but like that's not the issue now.
You think your people let you down?
Yes, that's why I say I felt betrayed. Yeah, because
is it by the youth or by the leadership?
The leaders.
Okay.
The youth there, I can't mention, but they already did well.
Okay.
Because they support.
Let's get to how far the case has gone.
Yeah. Oh, they say it's internationally.
Is the case still in court?
No, not really.
What happened to the guy and the
because
lady
we apologized to the behalf of the chiefs because almost 3-4 chiefs were with me at the court. It wasn't me alone.
Yes, I understand they also arrested some chiefs and elders.
Yes, so we all apologize to the state that with the videotapes we had during lashing, we all admit that it's wrong due to humanity because in future, as my brother said, if you have a kid and later on one day your previous pictures can just pop up from media, you know, media never forget. Then they will just see the father holding a pole while flogging his daughters. Yes. So that one is very wrong. We all understood that. Even in Islam, it's not good to expose someone to extent.
But they didn't say you shouldn't flog.
No one said because
say you shouldn't flog.
The chiefs in support of that.
Okay. The problem was with.
But we can flog them inside
without showing them.
Yes, even from the commander himself, he said we can flog them, but inside. And no tape of videos. No one should capture any video or pictures while flogging. Okay. So because they are our people.
The case has died down.
Yeah, because they traced to let the guy and the lady to what do I mention, to put the edition like to go ahead with the case against me. So there the guy said he cannot do it.
But the other aspect of the case wasn't pursued.
No.
We all know that releasing sex tapes is a crime. Yeah. So they didn't investigate about who released the sex
That was my problem. They were trying to let him against me while I flog him and snap picture. They weren't talking of what he did.
Okay. So, Baba, do you then think that is where the problem is? Because we are not looking at the root cause of why people were even flogged, but rather attention was paid more to the reason why people were flogged. I don't know if you get the question.
I understand your question very well. I think it's not just an issue with this particular flogging. Actually, we have a problem in this country. We approach issues with emotions. We don't actually go to the root causes of things that happen and how it generates or metamorphosizes into other to other problems. Because if we begin to deal with root causes of issues, I think we will be able to generally deal with what comes afterwards. But it's like I said, we deal with issues with emotions and begin to forget. Yes, begin to forget what actually caused, and not until we begin to cure the root causes of some of these things, we will come fight ourselves. Insult each other, betray each other, and go back to square one. Because if you actually want to hold on to the lashing, and the police see the need to bring and the sex tape thing continue to happen, and the police see the need to bring up other bylaws, how sure are we that the bylaws that the palace is coming up with will not again go against the laws of the general constitution that we have here? But if we could handle it from, I think laws that we come up with is actually to fix us and not generally and just to punish. It's for the good of the people, to ensure that when you put someone in prison, it's not because you just want to hate the person. It's for you to send a caution out there to either minimize the crime rate or to correct the person or to erase that particular crime wholly from our community. So when you don't deal with the root cause of what is actually making people cause these crimes, and you focus on putting someone in prison is not right, lashing someone is not right, it means that what the person is actually doing that in that metamorphoses into us actually punishing the person.
You're actually telling the person
indirectly it's not wrong.
Yeah, they did
So
no wrong,
a lot of people will continue to be in it.
That, yeah.
Then the root causes of our problems will not be fixed. So I think it's not a problem of this palace. It's not a problem of the Wala community. It is a general problem of our country for us not dealing with root causes, and I think it's a thing that we need to fix.
Yes.
Like he mentioned, he was the only one that they saw the need to spot in that incident that happened, and that is because some people felt that he has championed the whole cause of fixing this thing. They didn't even actually want to question again who led the coming of those people, investigate for them coming here. They thought that, once Bush doctor was around, he's the one who did it. So it has been a problem of us. We don't ask questions. We draw conclusions and we mess things up for ourselves. So I think root causes should actually be the way of fixing our people and our community.
Initially, you started mentioning how, what happened here has actually, changed the situation for the good.
Yeah.
How so is that?
We judged the indecency by the frequent flow of these nude videos, sex tapes coming. So the best way we can again judge as to whether we've been able to fix is to check how frequent they are coming. Are they still coming? Are they coming the 3 days afterwards? Is it now monthly? Is it annually? Or has it stopped? So for me, for the past month, I can't say I have seen a sex tape or nude pictures in our community. So no matter whatever happened, whatever transpired, but I think it ended with the lashing. After the lashing, I can't actually recollect any video being posted. So it meant that if it was even wrong, like I mentioned before, it has helped to fix us. And the core thing we wanted was to fix our community. So even if we did something wrong, but that it helped to fix us. So I don't see it wrong. I don't actually see it wrong once it has been able to fix our community to that decent line, because we are the husbands of these girls.
Women, yes.
They are our wives. When you put these sex tapes out, sometimes these guys that actually get these sex tapes will have to plead with these ladies to take the sex tapes. Wow. But when it's out there, nobody understands how comes the sex tape is out. Sometimes people even betray, like he mentioned, people go to buy sex tapes, then they put it out as a form of threatening you or to also get away into you. Not just that, people actually trap others.
So it means it's a big issue.
It's not just within, it's not just between boyfriend and girlfriend.
Licking
sex tapes. Other people, it's a source of livelihood for people. I know you are out there. It's a source of livelihood for other people. You will see media pages, WikiLeaks. You see other pages. That is their business.
Use it to make money. Yeah.
They use it to actually even betray big politicians.
To
sabotage politicians, so that they can get their livelihood from those things. So it's a thing that we should actually help to erase. That is why we have those laws that the production, the one who even put it out, is an illegal form.
One of the other issue that I've also heard about is thuggery, thievery, and petty things that I didn't know about in the Wa community. Do you think the moral fabric of the Upper West region or the Wala people has been broken to the extent that now a lot of other petty indecent acts are happening all over the place?
I don't know if I should say it is broken or it's not broken.
It's not broken, okay.
But I think that the rampant nature in which these things are happening in also, we are not just in an island. We are not just in an island.
It's not as though we are saying it's a peculiar case to the
Of
Upper
West region.
But then we are just concerned about the
Upper
West
West
region.
region. We are, like I said, that's where I was getting to. We are not in an island. The Wala community was more populated with the Wala people.
Just the Wala people, yes.
Today we have schools in our community. You have the UDS, people come in. You have other businesses in town. You have Nigerians here. You have other people from different backgrounds of life different in our cultures. Community today. And their being here has an influence on the people that we are living with. So some of these crimes are not just perpetuated by our own Wala people. And also we losing the fabric of our values in this community has a thing to do with these political leadership I mentioned.
Okay.
For instance, the Wala community years ago could bring a thief here and give him the necessary punishment they want to give. Today, the Wala Traditional Council cannot do that.
They don't have that power.
They don't have that power to fix that. And the laws, we all know, the holes of the law is very slow. It will not give you the end results. It will, at a point you even ignore you because it's delaying so much. So that actually give rooms for other people to perpetuate those crimes. So yes, we are in a way losing that values that we had as a community. But a lot of factors come into it. Influences of other people in this town, the influence, the traditional leadership losing its powers, and actually you see that most of those people here that do these things feel that yes, others are doing it, and the community in general doesn't frown on it because we are the youth. If we have a brother that is a thief and he cannot come to sit with us at our camp, we frown on it. Others will see the need not to go into it. But we actually mingle and we don't see anything, accept them. We don't see anything wrong with these things that our brothers are doing. And it's also in a way, we are not saying that, oh, once someone is a chief, you condemn him to as if he cannot.
He's not a human being.
He's not a human being anymore. But then the way we also integrate with them, like we feel that it's nothing.
Because in what we say Tijabunyen.
The way we live with them, the way we do things, they don't see anything wrong with what they are doing, and all of those things are what is making these crimes to continue. And before we can fix these things, I think, but the world is growing. The traditional leadership cannot have that much authority that it used to have.
So going forward, what do you think would be the best measure? So at least put these things in check.
I think because
that they say we shouldn't. Nobody should be caned.
Personally, I hold a view that most of the time we don't need laws to fix us. We must go back to that religious values, traditional values, the religious teachings, our upbringing, are those things that can actually fix us. Because as a person, when you need the law to fix you, then it means you are actually not ready to do the right thing. We all grew up, these laws that we are seeing, most of these emanated from the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not fornicate. When you want to bring us back to the Constitution, and you actually see things that the Constitution points out, don't do this, don't do that, you trace it back to the 10 commandments. So it tells us that religious-wise, if we want to fix ourselves in the religious direction, we will not need a law to fix us. Because at the mosque, you will be told not to do this. At the church, you will be told not to do this. Even if you are a traditional believer, but I doubt the traditional person, the priest there, will tell you to go and steal. No. So I think we don't necessarily need laws to fix us. I think our imams, our sheikhs should up their game. They should preach contemporary language.
Do you think they have let us down as well?
Not letting us down, but I think at times it's kind of some ignorance. Because if you are a sheikh, they are doing their best. But sometimes you see a sheikh, he's narrating stories of the olden days, which actually you ask yourself, of what benefit is it to the current day that we are in.
The youth don't relate to
people are releasing sex tapes, so your preaching should be geared towards sex tapes. People are stealing motorbikes of students in this community. Your preaching should be geared towards frowning on stealing. But if you focus your preaching on battling for prestige, because if you are in this our community, you will see that most of the times our sheikhs, even pastors, their preaching is on debate of who has the best, who is the mightier, who has the best, who is the true religious person. That battle is on that aspect. So it is allowing a room for the people that we actually have to teach to be in the right direction, going wayward. So I think, generally for me personally, I don't think that it is laws that we need to fix us, because the laws will do its part. But for me, most of us here that you will not see at the police cells, it's not because of the laws. It is because I feel my religion frowns on it. It is because I think my traditional, my values as a community person frowns on it. It is because I think that if I do it, my brother here feels that I am not befitting enough to be with him. I'm not befitting enough to one day lead this community. I will myself frown on it. I don't need a law to tell me not to go and steal. I don't need a law to tell me not to do the untoward things that others are doing. So I think we should focus more on the preaching from our churches, in our mosques, in all other gatherings that we are. So that will help instill that decency in us.
Great. Bush, going forward, what in your view do you think we should do to help curb all of these social vices, stealing, thuggery, like releasing of sex tape, prostitution? All of these things are things that are frowned upon by the community and even by the general, population of this country. What do you think we should do? Because it's as though when people take action, people are angry, but there's no other alternative. They are not giving us any other alternative to fix these issues. What do you think?
I just think our start was good. It was due to the majority of people that is in the community. Either it's a Muslim community, Christianity community, or in other like traditionally, those that embark of those crimes. As we checked so far, all the pastors, sheikhs, and all those are traditional leaders, they're all against that thing.
Yes.
So that's why we decided to come out with those bylaws to back up that is in the nation. Because if you are going with the constitutions, even some, if you are to force ourselves into it, the religious basis will not accept it. But as a religious personnel, you will be acting according to your religion. As we are saying, so as Nana said we should build that church, did you contribute? But he is the president. He cannot force us to contribute. So he's not saying that Ghanaians to contribute. That is his religion. But the constitution didn't say that Nana should build a church. So that means we can also come out with a good view for ourselves.
Okay.
Are you getting me? Nana is seeing that
the
church will help
be
him.
In the constitution.
Yes.
Okay.
At least they
Whatever
should give
you
us.
think, can bring the good or can make the community a better place.
Yes.
You can also do something in your own way.
That is it. They should give us the ahead of those laws that will help us.
Are you going to take a back seat because of what happened to you? Because you said you felt betrayed. Are you going to now say that, let me also go and see?
No.
Or you are still so
on
much
my feet, bro, because I have family. So if I say I wouldn't care or any other thing, it will happen to my boy or my girl in future.
And this is even.
So we have to fight against it.
One of the most important things is the fact that these things are in the public domain.
That
and
is
little
it.
children are growing up.
They are
and
growing.
Seeing
And today, every kid
to,
is holding tablets. Some are very smart to extend. They download Facebook and YouTubes.
So we should be concerned about them.
About it. So as we are saying, even Allah said, if you are doing bad, at your end, it will pay you bad. And the street also believe that karma. Whatever you are doing, it will pay you back. So as I am, I still stand for no sex tape.
Fight for the community.
I say no sex tape.
In our community.
Yeah.
Okay.
When on my past, Allah will fight for me. My family will be safe, inshallah, because it wasn't my
Okay,
path.
all right. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Bush
welcome, sir.
Doctor,
Yeah.
and my brother Baba Wala for, this amazing conversation. I think it's very important as young people we take issues of community development very seriously, and I'm super excited about this conversation. And I hope we can have more of such conversations to, carry everybody along. To understand what some of these things mean to us as young people and all of that. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks for watching. It's been an interesting conversation at the 1 Hours Palace. My name is Prince Hamdan. Make sure you subscribe, like the page, and also share the videos. See you in the next episode. We out.